When I first met George Harrison, I thought he was very handsome, and I thought he had the most beautiful velvet brown eyes. I started working when I was about 17, 18 as a fashion model. When I was modelling, I realised that I was actually quite interested in what was going on behind the camera, what the photographer was seeing. And so I saved up my money and bought a Pentax, my first camera. When I would go for modelling jobs, I'd take my camera with me and get a little bit of advice. I'd worked for lots of magazines and papers, and then I started doing TV commercials. Then one day, my agent phoned and said that I got a part in the Beatles film, but it was very secret and I wasn't to tell anyone. So it was really exciting. The Beatles were incredibly polite and charming. George was very sweet and I thought he was quite shy, like me. I think that's why we got on initially. We sat next to each other for lunch on the train to London, and George said, would I come out with him tonight? And I said, no, so sorry, I can't. I'm seeing my boyfriend. And his face dropped. My girlfriends were horrified that I would say no to a date with George Harrison. And so boyfriend had to go. And then a week later, the director wanted us to return to one of the film studios for one press shot. So we'd at the back doing their hair. Then George said to me, how's the boyfriend? I said, I don't have one. And he said, good, let's go out tonight. And this started our relationship. George was so adorable when he was away on tour because he missed me and I missed him dreadfully. And he would write amazing letters from different hotels and wonderful postcards. There was huge attention from the fans and from the press. And so there'd always be girls at the front door and following us around. And then Brian Epstein suggested that we all buy a house in the country. Amongst all the friends that would come to the house was Eric Clapton. He used to love coming and hanging out, playing guitar with George. Lots of musicians would turn up. It was great fun. This is a letter. It says express and urgent on it to me at Friar Park. And I opened it with trepidation because I could sense there was something kind of hot in here. And here's this letter with the tiniest writing imaginable. And it starts off, Dearest Elle, I'm writing this note to you with the main purpose of ascertaining your feelings towards a subject well known to both of us. Oh, my love, E. I showed the letter to George and I said, oh, George, look at this weird one I've got from a fan. And he sort of thought, oh yeah, dismissed it. Later on, the phone rang and it was Eric. He said, did you get my letter? I said, no. I mean, yes, I got a letter, but I didn't know it was from you. I thought it's from a fan, you know. So he said, no, it's from me. And I said, are you serious? And he said, yeah. So I think George was recording an awful lot and not really paying me much attention. And then so Eric came sneaking in. There was a beautiful painting that Eric gave me that he was given from the owner of a house in the south of France where he and his band were recording. And he loved this particular painting, and Eric decided to call it Layla. This is all based on a book called Layla and Majnun, and it's a ancient Persian love story. And he related to being Majnun and me Layla. After receiving Eric's letters, I went to the flat that he had rented for his band members to stay in while they were here. And he said he wanted to play something for me, and it was Layla. It was the song Layla. It was so beautiful and magical. There was such a passion and energy in the song. I was so flattered, but I was also so worried that George would work out why Eric had written this song. Eric wanted me to leave George, and I said that I didn't know, that I was very confused and couldn't make up my mind, and then I didn't see him for about 4 years. George and I were going through a really bad time, and so I went to go and stay with my sister in Los Angeles, just so we can have some time apart. And Eric invited me to join him on tour. It was really good fun. It was like travelling around with a team of people who were like a big family. And of course I had my camera with me, and it was a splendid opportunity because I was allowed to stand on the side of the stage and take photographs endlessly. I think the photograph that I've taken that I am more pleased with is a photograph of George and I when we were in Isha, and we'd been playing around in the swimming pool. Anyway, I set up my tripod, put the camera on it and said, George, just come and stand here near these roses. And so I set it up, put it on the timer, and we're both standing there looking and looking and looking. And it took so long for it to click that George by now is obviously thinking of a song, I like to think. And he looks away. And then the camera clicked. And there's George just looking away in a beautiful, soft way. I love that.